Well, we start most of these with very simple thing. I ask you two questions. First, can you tell us your name, and then tell us a little bit about yourself so we can get to know you?
Yes, my name is Clinton Bryant, and I am from Pompano Beach, Florida, which is in South Florida, Broward County.
Mhm.
Um, Currently, I work for Price Waterhouse Coopers, or PwC, which is one of the big four accounting firms,
Mhm.
and admin services in the finance and billing area. So, do you see? Okay, in finance and billing, and yeah, I just moved here in Tampa like 2 years ago. So this is my first full time. Well, actually my second, but my second full time job or position I've held.
So, where's home? Where were you born?
I was born in Fort Lauderdale, and I was raised in Pompano Beach, Florida.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so you've never really left Florida. Then Florida's been your base your whole life.
Yes. The I've traveled all over, and I lived in California for like 2 months. That was for an internship with the University of San Diego. And other than that, that was the only time I spent more than like a week outside of Florida.
Where did you go to school?
I went to school at FAU, Florida Atlantic University, in Boca Raton, Florida.
Uh-huh.
So I went there. I got my undergrad in psychology with a minor in sociology, and then I went back and got my master's in education and leadership.
We have very similar tracks. I have two undergraduate degrees. One is in psychology, one is in literature, and I have an executive master in public administration, and I have a doctorate in higher education administration. Very similar tracks. Good job. Keep going that way. So let me ask you this. So being in Florida, what is it like to grow up in Florida, and what is the population like? Can you just give us a brief overview of Florida?
So when people think about Florida, they typically think about South Florida.
Hmm.
Because as soon as you say Florida, people think about the Tri-County area in which I lived in, with, and they don't really think about the Tallahassees or sometimes the Jacksonvilles or the Gainesvilles, which are like the smaller cities,
Hmm.
even though Tallahassee's the capital. But growing up in Florida, the demographic and the population is over over the past couple of years, I've seen just an influx of people coming up from New York and Jersey. A good amount of people from FAU that went to FAU were from up north. Um, it was We have a very diverse demographic,
Hmm.
which I've noticed after I spent that time in California. I was like, I kind of missed it. Since we're close to the Caribbean, we have a lot of that culture in South Florida. So we have different foods that you can experience. I've I've had food from like Haitian food, Jamaican food, Antiguan food, like um had Cuban food, like authentic Cuban food, and I can say I would be afforded that opportunity anywhere else. But it's cool. It's very very diverse. I've learned a lot about the different islands because they're very proud of their islands, so they always represent it, and they have the carnival celebration, like the little parade. It's actually kind of massive, but they have the parade in which they dress up and play mass. That's what they call it, and it's like a parade. They just dance to the music. It's too hot for me, so I just let them have fun.
Very good. What is the racial makeup of the part of Florida that you're in?
Ratio, as in
Blacks, browns to whites, and other ethnicities.
I don't know the exact number, so I don't want to lie to you, but I would say, if I had to guess, I would say like at least 20% black, 20% black, 25% Latino, and 55% white.
And has there been any issue or police brutality where you live?
Thank God, no, there hasn't been. Typically, with I've been fortunate enough to never have a negative encounter with a police officer.
Yeah.
I've been pulled over countless times. I've been pulled over a lot, but a lot of those times I was at fault. So it was like the one time I got a ticket, the guy was just, I guess he was having a bad day. I'm like, well, he caught me red-handed. But I've never had to deal with an officer harassing me or, you know, putting me in handcuffs and just doing all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But my friends they weren't so lucky that also grew up in the county. One of my friends, when he had his hair, a lot of times they'll racial profile you, and a lot of people. That's what kind of had me like second guessing whether or not I wanted to grow my hair out, was
Mhm.
because a lot of times they associate my hair with drug dealers or like kind of rappers, people like thugs and different things like that. And my line brother, actually, they pulled him over for no reason, took him out the car, put him in handcuffs, like had him face down, searched his car, and really didn't give him an answer for anything. Like that's why he really does not like the police. Like my other friend said him and his friend were just riding their bike down Sunrise, and it was like 5 in the morning.
Mhm.
They had their lights on the bike and everything. No, they weren't doing anything wrong,
Mhm.
but he said the police drove past them and they just looked at the police and they kept driving, and the police circled back around and pulled them over and started asking them for their identification and everything for no reason. He said they were just riding their bikes down the street.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I would just say this: don't let anybody define you who you are. So how you wear your hair should be aware it makes you feel good, not what somebody else does.
mm-hmm.
I'm not a Christian, but I'm actually spiritual, and I believe whatever God has for you, you're going to get. There's nothing anyone can do to stop it. And so you've been very blessed that you haven't had any of these encounters. So if you like your hair, go with it. No one else's opinion really matters. Um, so, so tell me again what you say you do in Florida. You're investment banker or investment.
No, so I work in finance and billing
Uh,
for PwC. So I help. Well, in my department, we help those the client facing side of the firm. We help them by, if they need certain reports ran, they need invoices created, they need some research done, they're trying to find track payments or try to get things paid. They submit a ticket to us and we assist them in whatever way we can. So it's really just running reports and making the engagement easier for those who are actually in the field, like serving our clients. So we're internal services.
okay, that makes sense. And what is the racial makeup of the organization where you work? Are there equal numbers of black, whites, and browns and other ethnicities?
Not exactly equal, but I would say my department is very, very diverse compared to the other places I've worked. My manager is black, my supervisor is black. The past director was Latino, and now it's a white woman. Um, we have actually, I would say it's like maybe 35% white and like 30% black, and the rest is like Latino. It's a very like diverse group, but it's mostly, there's only like 4 or 5 black males in my department though. It's mostly females.
Sometimes that's the odds, right?
Hmm.
Let me ask you this: do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have one sister, and she is 4 years older than me. She just turned 32, May 30th.
So it's just the two of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever, have you or has she ever felt unsafe or felt that her person could be in jeopardy?
She's never expressed that to me. She's never expressed her being in fear of anything. I think that's mainly because she really doesn't go out like that. She doesn't go to the club. She doesn't go to bars. She'll legit just go to work, go to church, and then go home
Mhm.
and or study. Or she never really did like extracurricular activities. I was a child to do everything. I was the one to explore. I got all the beatings growing up. Like I was the one that had the questions and just I needed answers. So, oh, if you don't touch the stove because it's hot. I'm like, how you know it's hot? Oh, da, 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 da. I'm going to test it for myself. Legit. I was a student. I mean, I always ask questions, whether they were rude or not. I didn't know they were rude. I was just like, it was just on my mind. And my mom said I used to embarrass it sometimes, but it's all good.
Are you still that person?
Uh, no, I've learned to change the way. Like it's all about delivery. That's what I learned. It's all about delivery and timing when you ask people things. And I would say I like learning. So if I have questions about stuff, I always Google stuff or go to YouTube University and I find out, or I know somebody that knows something about something. So I've never stopped being inquisitive. I'm a lifelong learner, so I'm always learning different things.
So where do you see your career going? What's your trajectory?
Yes. Before COVID, I was actually trying to decide what my next move is going to be because my position now is basically like the my foot in the door to PwC because it's hard to get into the firm. It's very challenging. So this was like basically my foot in the door, and I made it clear to my director and manager that I wasn't trying to be here longer than I really needed to be here because I know that what I'm doing now is not fully utilizing my entire skill set, and you I know I could be doing more. So I was over here. They were like, "Okay, what do you want to do?" And their thing is, you have to take charge of your own career, take ownership of your career. So you can't, oh, you'll be good in this and try this out. They'll be like, "Nah, you look for whatever you're trying to look for, you connect with whoever you connect with and come back to us. And if that's what you want to do, then we'll try to help you out in any way." So with that, I actually like joined the Black Inclusion Network that we have in Tampa, and I joined the mentor program, in which connected me with a senior manager in artificial intelligence.
Mhm.
So at the time, I was like thinking, hey, I was thinking about money
Mhm.
because I was like, IT is blowing up, cybersecurity specifically is really blowing up, and just if they ever get rid of this department, what would be the fastest thing to will get me another job? I can just get a job anywhere, and that's either programming or cybersecurity. So, and plus, I figured it was going to pay a lot, but it was like one day me and my mentor sat down, and he brought somebody else from cloud security that was from the Atlanta office, and we spoke for a good 2 hours, and they were like, okay, got to know me, got to know them. They were like, do you really want to sit behind a computer and just crunch numbers or do whatever all day? And I was like, to tell you the truth, nah, because I'm more of a people person. I like talking to people. I like moving around. I just hate just staying on a computer, just looking at the screen all day. It'll drive me crazy. But I was like, it was really about the money. But they were like, basically, I wouldn't last. really in IT, if I had that thinking, like basically all they do is sit down and look at screens and stuff. So they were like, they feel like if that's what I want to do, then they'll know I'll be good at it, but they know that I'll be happier in a human capital role or human resource, which I was running from it. But hey, man, like you said, it's for you. It's for you. So I'd like to say this. I'm actually looking into getting into human capital, preferably recruiting, college campus recruiting and stuff like that.
That's a very interesting career, and hopefully that brings more diversity to 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 uh, to organizations, because a lot of times when you have people that look a certain way, they only recruit certain types of people, you know. So I think that your idea and thoughts are very good. We have about 10 minutes, so let me ask you a couple more questions. I'm going to start with asking you: have you watched the video of Mr. Floyd?
Yes, I have.
What were your thoughts?
Um, my thoughts. My first thought was what why they have so many officers and the guys on the ground. And then I'm looking because I just can't just automatically like, okay, he's in trouble and we can go from there. Like I need some kind of backstory. Like how did we get in this position? How did this go about? Like what happened? But I was watching it but he had his knee on his neck. And I'm just looking like, okay, the guy is not resisting. He's not moving. He's not doing anything. You're in complete control. Why are you still there? He's detained. He's not resisting. He's just on the ground. Why are you still on his neck? Like, what point are you proving? And then I saw the Asian officer just sitting there trying to help. I don't even want to say help because you're not helping him, but he's just there trying to keep people away from the officer. He's not helping at all. And then here this man uh just called for his mom, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm through. I'm through." And it was like he knew he was going to die. And that was like sickening because I thought about it. I'm like, yo, that could have been my uncle. That could have been my dad. That could have been me. That could have been any of my friends.
Yeah.
So I just looked at it like that. I got really, really upset because it's like, what did he do? And
to make to bring that kind of force.
and then what made it worse is that we got it from another angle. The guy was on his neck, somebody else was on his torso, and someone else was on his legs.
Really?
There were four officers there. So
I only saw the one with the man on his neck. There were four other people on his body too.
yeah, so the man was on his neck. It was more than two officers. That's why I was like, what's the point of you putting your knee on his neck? There were other people holding him down. He had handcuffs on. Like, you think he was going to just get up and just run away? Like what's going on? And I was just really upset. And then you have, I mean, man, I was, and it's really strange that it took that video out of all the other videos that we have of you guys just killing us for no reason. This one video is like you guys wake up like, oh, we got to stop treating black people go through this. Like they go through this. Like we've been telling y'all since the beginning of time. Like we've been telling you guys what happened. Like I was born in '92, so I believe Rodney King happened in '92. This man got beat on tape, and like Trayvon Martin got killed. We have like countless other names, and it's like, do you guys just not hear this, or like, I don't know what it like. I don't know why this is the catalyst, but I'm just thankful. But I feel like it's been delayed, and this is like really uh, not too late. But I'm glad there's change, but it's taking too long. It's really taking too long.
Do you think there will be real change?
As a result of George Floyd, this murder,
and the protests and various other things that people have been doing?
I think I think that there will be change, but it's not going to be immediate. But what we have to do is like our generations have to basically keep doing what they're doing and stand up for what's right. Because as you see, like throughout generations, people's ideals change, and now you see more and more people that are not of Black descent. They're like joining in our plight. Like one of my best friends is Nicaraguan. He's always advocating for Black people. He went out and protested, and it's like now I feel that the companies are taking initiative, so they have no other choice but to acknowledge this. For example, with my firm, the week it happened, the last hour of Friday, they got one of the partners added a WebEx conference and just had everyone just see how they felt. And then that following Monday, the lead partner sent out a memo. Hey, the murder of George Floyd. Oh, if you have Black colleagues, reach out to them, make sure they're okay. The next day, this is how we're going to fight against racial injustice. The next day, these are the steps. The next day, oh, we're having another meeting about it. So it's not like I was never more proud to work for a company because it's like, or a firm, because they actually they donated money to these Black organizations. They gave us spaces in which to talk about this. They're actually put together like actionable items in order to combat this. They didn't have to, but it was needed.
Yeah.
But I believe there will be change, but major change, maybe. I think it will change, but it's not going to be immediate. It's not going to be swift. And I think the fastest change would be in police reform.
Mhm.
Uh, so you see how fast they had the no choking rule. They mandated that you can't put whoever suspects in chokeholds. I didn't know that was a thing that you could put them in chokeholds. Why do you guys let them? Okay, um, but I think it's going to be some minor things. But if we continue in the direction we're heading in, like it's going to be a better tomorrow.
I'm glad you think so. I'm not so hopeful, but I'm glad you think so because we've been here before. So we have about 2 minutes. I'm gonna leave the last 2 minutes to you. I will say this before I stop talking though. Once this video is converted, I will send you a link to it. You can watch it if you think it's good and we can upload it, we'll upload it. If not, you say no. If you don't want to do it anymore, say no. Or if you want to do over, you can just let me know. Okay.
Okay.
Last 2 minutes, all yours.
You said you weren't so hopeful.
Yeah, because we've been here before. I mean, we've been here before. You're very young, so there's a part of this you don't know, but you seem like you're a history buff and you know a lot about what's happening in the world. Selma, we saw Black and white people marching across a bridge and dogs and water hoses and all kinds of things done to these people. And it was done on television and white people saw it and they were aghast. And so eventually we got the civil rights movement. We had Brown versus Board of Education. And every time there's something new, but the real impact for Black people is not always positive, so civil rights, we're still fighting for civil rights, right? So whether you're LG, yeah,
Yeah.
the acronyms, whether you're those folks or whether you're Black or whether you're a woman, we aren't paid equitably, and we've been in America since 1619. It is now 2020. We're quickly rounding our way to 2021, and major change has not happened. Where are the reparations? Where's my 40 acres and a mule? So you got all of this there. So for me, I'm not so optimistic about this. Yes, white people seem to care. White people seem to be in it. But remember, it took white people to elect Obama. And as soon as they got him out of that 8 years, they put somebody else in there who was nowhere near like the man that Obama was. I mean, he was a spotless president with real logic and real, intensity. Whereas, you know, I don't know. It's your turn. I don't want to talk more. It's your turn.
Well, like you said, but I feel that with the change that it's going to be very slow paced, and it might not be by the time I pass until like this is realized, or but I really feel comparing our times to my parents' times, this is very different and it's way more progressive.
Yeah.
I would say that we did have change because this is definitely my parents. They grew up right when segregation happened, so we already just years later, like 30 years after they had me and everything. So our whole outlook is like different from our parents' because we have different experiences. So um, I'm just being hopeful that we continue this momentum and more people. Oh, social media is also helping people. Yeah, never mind. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's helping to enlighten people, but it's also helping spread ignorance. So it's like a
Double-edged sword.
yeah. So it's like you can learn from social media, but at the same time you can spread ignorance and false information and fake news on social media. So I I honestly feel like change is happening. Like I said, it's not going to be this swift justice, but like you said, our reparations. Everyone that actually went through something have had their reparations. Besides us, it's like
Yep.
how do we actually get that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it annoys me because like people act like they don't like history class didn't exist, even though you guys brushed over slavery. It was still there. You still had to touch on some kind. That's why I'm glad. I think I went to a black. No, I went to my elementary school was white, but then I went to Parkway Middle School, which is I want to say 89% black. Then I went to Blanche Ely High School. My graduating class was 635 people. Of that 635, five of them were white. So I went to a black high school, black middle school. My teachers were black, Latino, and my the reason I became a psych major was it was my psychology teacher. His name was Mr. Fleming, and he related everything back to black people. Everything back to black people. We just went over different theories. He related that back to black people. That's my first time reading the Willie Lynch letter. Like was all in high school,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm just thankful for that because they made emphasis on the black plight and black history, whereas I was like, dog, there are black people who aren't as fortunate to have black history teachers that actually break it down and show people actually how it is. And I think that's one of the reasons some people don't understand or they fail to understand what's happening because the white teachers might have. My friend said she had always had white history teachers, and she was like or one of the two black people in the class. So they would talk about slavery, but just kind of just skim over it to make them because it got really uncomfortable
Mhm.
for her or the teacher might be like just didn't even ask how she felt about it, but they were kind of like, oh, it's slavery, slavery, slavery. Yes, the war,
Yeah.
and then talk about the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
So
In my history class, they told me that Christopher Columbus discovered America. That's what I learned in history class. Now I'm way older than you. You know, I was stupid enough to believe it because that's what the history teacher said. And it wasn't until I was adult that I realized there were Native Americans here long before Christopher showed up. So it's just one of those things. So. But anyway, I thank you so much for this chat. Thank you. If you want to do it with me again, please reach out, or let me know. You have my contact information. Once the video is converted, I will send it to you, and you can say whether it's a yay or a nay, and
Hmm.
go from there. But I hope you'll do another one with me at another time.
Yeah, no problem. I like to talk, so
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about, don't we?
yes, yes, we do.
All right. Well, you stay safe, and we'll be in touch shortly.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.